What's up, YouTube? I'm Valentin the Mad, and today I'll be revisiting Jagged Alliance 2. Jagged Alliance 2 is a game I loved from the moment I first played it, and I ended up spending way too many hours in it. Today I will revisit it and discuss exactly what made me enjoy it so damn much. Keep in mind that I'm running the game with unofficial patch 1.13, which is an absolute must-have. It greatly enhances the experience in pretty much every aspect and offers a large amount of new features. The most notable one for me would be configurability. Here's the original game starting screen, and here's the screen for 1.13. If that's not enough, you have a massive config file that offers many more settings that greatly affect the experience. Whether spatial characters are bullet spongy, damage multiplier on headshots, whether the enemy army can recruit female soldiers, and a lot more. So what will you be doing in Jagged Alliance 2? You'll be leading a group of mercenaries to free the fictional country of Arauco from a totalitarian regime. The setting is realistic, though there is an option for a sci-fi mode as well. The time period is the 90s. The game can be divided into two main parts, the management screen and the combat. The management screen is what I call Overthrow a Dictator Simulator. You'll be managing your forces, training militia, buying guns and ammo, and deciding how to go next with the means you have. The game offers total freedom of operation and does not hold your hand on the question of how to achieve the main goal. Your limitations are money, equipment, and forces. While there's more depth to the management screen, the main thing that got me to spend so much time in this game is the combat, and this is what I wanna focus on. The combat in the game is entirely turn-based. You'll be moving in real time only when no enemy is detected. The movement in the battlefield is entirely open. You can go wherever you want, split your squad as much as you like, and the locations, while not huge, offer enough room to maneuver and try different tactics. If one approach got your squad wiped out, you can always try something else. This and the solid AI of the enemies offer the replay value that got me to come back for many playthroughs over the years. Should be mentioned that stealth is also an option. You have skills, weapons and items that can help your mercs kill enemies without getting detected. Personally, I never use a stealthy approach. I try to quietly get my mercs in good positions before going all guns blazing, but that's about it. And now to my favorite part, the all guns blazing. The quickest way to describe the combat system in Jagged Alliance 2 would be a game of values done right. You have a ton of values, many different character skills, weapon stats, the type of ammo you are using, whether the character is wounded or tired, and several others. The values affect the tasks a character can do, the actions a character can do in a turn in combat, and the chance to hit the enemy. For example, someone with a low explosive skill should not try disarming a mine. Mercs with a high marksmanship skill still won't be able to snipe people from a large distance using a pistol. And perhaps most importantly, even the most experienced, battle-hardened characters will take a reasonable amount of damage before dying. In other words, highly skilled characters will simply be highly skilled, not superhumans. Unfortunately, this common sense approach is not all that common in gaming, especially in games where stats and skills have such a big role. Another major feature is the damage model, which is actually more advanced than what we have even in most games today. So first, you have two key values, the health bar and the energy bar. When hit, the character will lose health and will start bleeding, but they'll also lose energy points. When the energy bar drops to 0, the character will collapse and be completely helpless until they regain their breath. That energy bar is also affected by exhaustion. If the character didn't sleep for a long period of time, the maximum value will be low, and physical activity will also drain points, so an exhausted underslept character will collapse very quickly. That disabled state can be caused by low health points as well. When the value drops below 15, the character will collapse, be completely helpless, but unlike exhaustion, the character will depend on a medic to save them. Another consequence of being shot is losing action points. This means that a character who took a bullet won't be able to do much in the next turn, and if they took several bullets, they likely won't be able to do anything at all. While the characters will recover quickly from the immediate effect, they'll also have to deal with an action points penalty for untreated wounds. This and the bleeding often lead to somewhat of a dilemma. Do you want to use the turn to treat the wounds, or shoot the enemy? Armor plays a role too. It may absorb some of the damage or even the entire hit, however, characters will still face consequences for being shot. They lose action points when hit, and the energy bar will also drain. Here's an example. The character didn't lose a single health point, but he collapsed after the hit. Characters also have a chance of permanently losing skill points. You'll sometimes see a message saying, X is hit in the chest and loses Y points of maximum health. Or hit in the shoulder and loses Y points of dexterity. But my favorite one is, hit in the head, loses Y points of wisdom. And of course, being the Go Reviews channel, I'll mention the response mechanics too. The flashiest response related feature would be the gory finishers. The ones I remember are the exploding head and the finisher where the character gets thrown back that I was not able to trigger in this playthrough. There's a very small variety of those and they happen very rarely. The bleeding effects, however, are very solid. You'll see respawn stains on impact, wounded characters will leave blood trails, and you have blood pools for dead characters. The mess will also stay for a very long while, several days in the game's time. The bodies actually have a very interesting way of disappearing. They'll be eaten by crows. There's a half-eaten variation that you'll see if you check out the body about a day after the fight. And aside from the disabled state, wounded characters will have a different walking animation. However, there is a special animation only for walking. There are no different animations for running or crouched movement. A few other things I wanna mention. Stray bullets. Just because a bullet didn't hit the person you were aiming at, doesn't mean it can't hit someone else. It will happen frequently, and it can be pretty amusing. Skills will improve by doing tasks related to that specific skill, or by training you can initiate in the management screen. As you can guess, the progression is slow and realistic. I have to say that it's really satisfying seeing a character you would first consider unreliable in combat slowly turn into a skilled professional. The other way the game portrays progression is weapons. When you begin, you and your mercs will be armed with pistols, and so will the enemies. As you capture towns, the enemies you'll face will get progressively better weapons. From SMGs and old rifles to heavy weapons that will force you to radically change your plans, such as mortars, sniper rifles, and even mustard gas grenades. When you reach the city of Meduna in the end, you will encounter characters armed with rocket rifles. This is where the whole combat that makes sense thing that made me love the game so much goes down the drain. I played through it once just to see how the game ends. Every other time I would simply start a new playthrough once I freed everything else. To sum it up, the things that stand out to me the most are the turn-based open combat in a realistic setting, skills, stats and progression that make sense, and the very deep damage model. I was looking for newer games that can offer a similar combat experience, but the closest thing I could find was the XCOM series where you're fighting aliens. That's it for now. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, and if you liked the video, subscribe and share it around. You can find a link to all the revisiting videos in the description below. Until next time.
Tranquilizer time! Yes.